Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Belmont Park here on Saturday. It is the 14th of May, 2022. I'm going to look at the stakes races on the program from Belmont, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and also join me today for my lock-in preview from Newbury in the UK. It's a great mile race, one of the best of the season, so join me for that. And also join me tomorrow for my French 2,000, 1,000 guineas from Patty Longchamp. So some great races all across planet Earth today. Let's look at the stakes action here in New York, stateside at Belmont. We'll be looking at races 3, 5, 8, 9, and 10. So a lot of action to get to. Start off with the third race, which is the Vagrancy Handicap. It's grade 3 event going for a purse of $150,000. It's for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. We have 5 horses heading to the main track. The distance of ground here of 1,300 meters, or the distance of ground is 6.5 furlongs in the Divergency Handicap. 1,300 meters, 6.5 furlongs. And I show the diagram. Just gives me a second to look down my notes. Just bear with me. I'm going to take here the 2-horse Frank's Rocket as a top selection. Let's go 2, 5, 3, 4 in the superfecta. 2, 5, 3, 4 super. Top selection of 2-horse Frank's Rocket. This 5-year-old mare by Into the Mischief. Belmont trains. Flavian Pratt gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 2nd of April at Oak Lawn. 6 furlongs in the Carousel Stakes. And the horse finished second by a half length. You know, he didn't break so okay that day, shall I say. But he sat back early, slowly moved his way up, but he couldn't catch Acting Out, who just had the jump on him late. First off the bench, horse probably need the race. Second off, back to Belmont, where this horse really likes to run. I'm going to give this horse another shot. 2 back, the horse ran the Sugar Swirl at Gulfstream, 6 furlongs on the 18th of December, and the horse finished second by length that day. Was dueling on the front end, just couldn't catch Sterling, who was just a little bit out-gamer than this horse, but he still ran her out there. And then before then, the Shreem Supreme at Churchill, 6 furlongs, 13th of November. The horse finished third by 5 1/4 lengths that day, and basically just kind of stalked, but never really quickened up, was very flat. The end of the 2021 campaign for this horse was very tough, just was facing a little bit too tough competition. Showed potential last time out here over at Oak Lawn. Come back to Belmont, where this horse really likes running. Win the Gallon Bloom here in October 2020 very nicely, earning a 95 buyer. I think this horse could finally go back to winning ways. Horse hasn't seen the winner's circle since the Saylorville at Prairie Meadows that came in July 3rd to be exact, going 6 furlongs, where the horse won by 3/4 length. And on the front and all throughout, this horse could have probably won by more at 89 buyer. That was a very good run. But since then, hasn't found the winner's circle. But like I said, has been facing very tough horses. Coming here today, not the world's toughest race. I think this horse can get the job done. So to recount my selection for the third from Belmont, it's the Divergency Handicap. Let's take the 2-horse Frank's Rocket. 2, 5, 3, 4 for me in the superfecta. Over to race number 5 now from Belmont, which is the Runhappy Stakes. It's a grade 3 event going for a purse of $150,000. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 6 horses going to the main track. The distance of ground here of 1,200 meters, or the distance of ground of 6 furlongs on the Belmont main track. 1,200 meters, 6 furlongs here in the Runhappy. My top selection, I'm going to go with the number 5 horse here officiating. I'll go 5, 3, 4, 1 in the superfecta. 5, 3, 4, 1 super. Top selection of 5 horse officiating. This 4-year-old colt by Blame. Safi Joseph Jr. trains one. Manny Franco gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came 27th of March at Tampa. 6 furlongs in the Florida Stallion Sprint Stakes. And the horse finished 4th by 6 1/4 lengths that day. And he just kind of stalked and never had the turn of foot. That Tampa track at times, you either like it or hate it. This horse I just don't think liked it. Refreshing, coming to New York, better track for this horse to run on. I think the horse could really run a lot better. 2 back on the 5th of March at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs and then Tom Fool Handicap. The horse ran the race of his life, winning by 5 1/4 lengths that day. He sat back early, a little bit wide, but when he quickened up, he got the job done. A 95 buyer, an all-around easy run from there. And then the Fred Hooper at Gulfstream, 1 mile on the 29th of January. He finished 3rd by 10 1/4 lengths. Speaker's Corner has been a freak all year. Freak that day at Gulfstream. This horse just stalked and never really got into it. Maybe the mile was also a little bit long. And then before then, the Mr. Prospector at Gulfstream, 7 furlongs in the 11th of December. The horse went by 3/4 length. And, you know, he stalked that day. He got the lead and got the job done. A very nice return to the winner's circle. Before that, they tried him on the Tapeta in the showing up, going a mile 70 at Gulfstream around 2 turns, where he never really showed up. Also, 12 of 12 is not an ideal post draw for him. But since going back to his sprinting trip, he's really become a lot better horse. He's training well at Gulfstream. At 4-1, let's take him. The 3-horse Repo Rocks is your second likely sooner. I think. I like his win here on the 20th of December, 20th of April, where he won by 5 1/4 lengths, earning a 99 buyer. Some of his races this winter could definitely win against these horses. At 3-1, definitely using your multi-race wager. But to recap my selection for the 5th from Belmont, it's the Runhappy. Let's take the 5-horse officiating. Give kudos to the 3-horse, Repo Rocks. 5-3-4-1 Super. Let's go 5-3 in the multi-race. Let's head over to the featured 8th race now from Belmont. The 8th race, it is the Manowar Stakes. It's a grade 1 event going for a purse $700,000. Races for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 6 horses heading to the inner turf course. The distance of ground here of 2,200 meters, with a distance of ground of 1 mile 3/8 on the Belmont inner turf course. 2,200 meters, 1 mile 3/8 here in the Manowar. And I always remember the Manowar being the local prep race for the Joe Hurst Turf Classic. We usually run the first weekend of September here in New York at Belmont. And then they moved it to at the end of the Belmont Spring Meet. And now they moved it to the beginning of the Belmont Spring Meet, which I think is a good position. It's kind of a good, prep race for, the Manhattan in a few weeks' time. And, it's that race in the middle of nowhere between those Gulfstream 1.5 mile races and the summer 1.5 mile older turf division races. So it's become a great race in the last few years. It finally found its mojo again. My top selection, I'm going to go with the 2-horse Gufo. Let's go 2-3-4-5 in the superfecta. 2-3-4-5 super. Top selection of 2-horse Gufo. 5-year-old horse by declaration of war. Christophe Command trains. Joao Rosario gets the mount. Horse has been seen, was most recently seen, shall I say, 2nd of April at Gulfstream. About 1.5 miles on the turf course in the Grade 2 Pan American. And the horse won by 2 lengths that day. And he sat back early, saw a good pace by Avon that day, who set a good pace after that, and this horse caught him late, winning by 2 lengths, and all around good race back to the winner's circle. Come back here to Belmont today. He's going to probably see a good pace. I think he could really run a good race here today. 2 back in the Breeders' Cup Turf at Del Mar, 1.5 miles on the 6th of November. He finished 10th by 10 lengths that day, and he was very wide throughout. He never had the good turn of foot. It just wasn't his day to win. And then the Turf Classic at Belmont, 1.5 miles on the 9th of October. He finished 3rd by 3.5 lengths that day. He had a horrible race that day, a horrible trip. Didn't break that well, was stupidly wide throughout, had the lead, but because he was so wide, he just couldn't get the good turn of foot late. Rock Emperor really got the job done to win. Ran his heart out. This horse ran his heart out for 3rd, but, you just can't be that wide on that going 1.5 miles. And then before then, the Sword Dancer at Saratoga, 1.5 miles on the 20th of August. He won by a neck that day, closed up from nowhere. It was a good battle with Japan to the wire. He got the neck in front, an all-around good race, earning a career best 104 buyer speed figure. And then before then, the Grand Coutier at Belmont, 1.5 miles on the 5th of July, winning by a length, closing up from nowhere. An all-around easy race for him. He ran this race last year going 1 mile 3/8, where he finished 2nd by a nose. Channel Cat had the jump on him. This horse again was stupidly wide, but was closing up well. They took him after that to run in the Manhattan, where I do think the Mount Core is a little bit too short for him. He closed up a little bit that day, but it wasn't anything spectacular for him there. He's more of a 1.5 mile 3/8, 1.5 mile horse. You should definitely get the trimp. He's training well. 7-5, but let's use him. You also have to use the 3-horse Beer. It's 4-year-old Gellin by DeBowie. Charlie Appleby trains this one. William Buick comes in from the UK to ride this horse. By the way, William Buick's riding tomorrow in Paris at Longchamp and the Guineas, so that's going to be a quite good 24 hours for him. With all the travel, riding Friday at Newmarket, I think, or Newbury, and then Belmont on Saturday. Sunday in Paris. You frequent flyer miles for him. But Yabir, he started just over 2 weeks ago on the 29th of April at Newmarket, 1.5 miles in the Group 2 Jockey Club Stakes, where he finished 2nd by 1 3/4 lengths. He's been to the ground 25 cents a dollar, and I was the idiot that backed him also that day. But he sat back early. He moved a little bit late, but he couldn't catch Living Legend. It looked like also they weren't trying. It looked like it was just basic. They needed to get a race under his belt. They got a race. He didn't win, but he ran his heart out. Come here, quick turnaround. Horse has proven he can run anywhere in the world. I think he should really run a good race here today. 2 back who ran the Shahima Classic at Maidan, 1.5 miles on the 26th of March. He was drawn stupidly wide that day, which cost him. He finished 2nd by a neck. He sat back early, wide throughout. He just couldn't catch the winner, but he ran his heart out there off the bench. And then probably one of the best races of 2021 on anywhere on planet Earth was that Breeders' Cup Turf at Del Mar, 1.5 miles, 6th November. He won by half length. He sat back early, slowly moved his way up, and then got pushed out of it, and then slowly moves his way back up again, and won very easily late, circling the field. A 105 buyer, great ride by Buick, 8.5 to 1 for a 3-year-old to win the Breeders' Cup Turf. that was a great run for him there. And then his debut here in North America at Belmont, a mile and a half in the Jockey Club Derby, he won by 2 1/4 lengths. Again, sitting back early, slowly moving his way up, an all-around easy race. You know, they gelded him after the Goodwood Coutier Stakes, where he ran in that Derby trial, where he finished second by 4 lengths, and he just couldn't get there. Came back to run the Bahrain Trophy, where he won very easily. Came back to run in the Gordon Stakes on very soft ground, which I don't think he really handled. He likes the fast ground that you're going to see today. And then after that, he won the Great Voltaire at York very, very easily, beating a good group of horses home. So he likes the mile and a half. He's training well. Even money, he could definitely win on paper. It wouldn't surprise me if Avon wins. The center turf course at Belmont does play towards speed. He does have a lot of speed, and it wouldn't surprise me if Luis Saez walks the dog like he did in the Alan Jerkins or the McKnight Handicap at Gulfstream. He ran here at Belmont once in the past. I came over on the on the Widener turf course going a mile and a half in October in a lounge race where he finished second by a half length. He just couldn't keep up late, but he ran his heart out there. Came back to win going a mile 3/8 at Aqueduct after that, and then when he stepped up to stakes quality horses, he really has run these good races. He has a lot of speed. If there's going to be a horse winning on the front end walking the dog, it's probably going to be him. We'll use him in the late pick 4 that begins with this race. But to recap my selection for the 8th from Belmont, it's the grade 1 $700,000 Man of War. Let's take the 2-horse Gufo, give kudos to the 3-horse Yubir and the 4-horse Avon. 2, 3, 4, 5 Super, 2, 3, 4 in the multi-race. The 9th race now from Belmont. It is the Peter Pan Stakes. It's a grade 3 event going for a purse of $200,000. Race for 3-year-olds here. Field of 8 horses in this local Belmont Stakes prep race going the distance of ground of 1,800 meters or the distance of ground of a mile and 1/8 on the Belmont main track. 1,800 meters, a mile and 1/8 here in the Peter Pan. My top selection, I'm going to go to the number 3 horse here, Complete Agenda. Let's go 3, 1, 2, 4 in the superfecta. 3, 1, 2, 4 super. Top selection of 3 horse, Complete Agenda. 3-year-old colt by Curlin. Todd Pletcher trains. Jose Ortiz gets the leg up. The horse's most recent appearance came 21st of April at Aqueduct. Mile and 1/8 in the main special weight, 80,000. And he won by a half length. He was a little bit wide throughout with a horrible beginning, but he settled well after that, quickened up nicely, and he got the job done. He's the kind of horse a 1-turn mile and 1/8 should suit him well. He could slowly move his way up, and looking towards the future, he looks like he could stay the trip well. Possible Belmont horse. 2 back, he ran at Gulfstream on the 26th of February. Mile and 1/8 in the main special weight, 53,000. And he finished 6 by 7 lengths that day. He was very wide that day, and he just never really showed up. Maybe he didn't like the Gulfstream Park surface, and maybe he just had traffic. It just wasn't his day to win. Maybe he had traffic. He did have traffic there. And then before the 29th of January at Gulfstream, mile 16th in main special weight, 53,000. He finished 3rd by 4 lengths. He was drawn very wide around both turns. He moved a little bit late, but after all said and done, you have to save ground, especially at least around one of the turns. Not, you can't be 5 and 10 wide. You're not going to win off of that race. And then before that, in late December at Tampa, mile 40 in a main special weight, finishing 2nd by 1/4 lengths. He didn't break that well, but slowly moved his way up. He showed potential late. Coming here today, facing winners and stakes quality horses, longer trip, longer Belmont backstretch should suit him well to settle well. I think at 8-1, give him a shot. You also have to give a shot to the Southern California Invader, the 1-horse Set Sail. Richard Mandela trains his 3-year-old colt by Malibu Moon. Joel Rosario gets the mount. Most recently ran the 27th of March at Santa Anita, 1 mile in the main special weight, 67,000. Where he won by 7 1/4 lengths, and on the front end all throughout, he really put on a show that day. His debut going 7/8 in a main special weight at Santa Anita, he finished 3rd by 6 lengths, and he had a little bit of a trouble trip down the backstretch, a little bit wide, and it took him some time to get going. But keep in mind, the 1, 2, 3 out of that race all 1x out, so it's a good form out of that race. Coming here to a longer, elongated mile and 1/8 sprint, it wouldn't surprise me if this horse gets the job done. And also the 2-horse here, Electability. I love his last race at Aqueduct going a mile, and the race before that where he broke the maiden. Since coming to the dirt, he's become a very good horse. Should definitely get the trip. 7-2, another horse using your late pick 4. But to recap my selection for the 9th from Belmont, it's the grade 3 Peter Pan. Let's take the 3-horse Complete Agenda. Give kudos to the 1-horse Set Sail and the 2-horse Electability. 3, 1, 2, 4 Super. 3, 1, 2 in the multi-race. The 10th race now from Belmont. It is the Beaugay Stakes. It's a grade 3 event going for a purse of $150,000. Races for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 7 horses going to the inner turf course. The distance of ground of 1,700 meters, or a mile and 1/16 on the Belmont inner turf course. 1,700 meters, a mile 16th here in the Beaugay. Portable rails are out at 9 feet on the inner turf. Keep that in mind. My top selection, I'm going to go with the number 2 horse, La Mista, as the top selection. Let's go 2-1. 3-4 in the superfecta, 2-1-3-4 super, top selection 2 horse La Mista, 5-year-old mare by Ravens Pass, Chad Brown trains, Ira Tatis Jr. gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 14th of August at Rest in Peace Arlington Park, mile 3/16 in the Beverly D Stakes, and he finished third by 3 1/4 lengths that day. He was very wide that day. He closed up well behind Santa Barbara and Mean Mary, but needed something late with a stronger pace in front of him, sitting a little bit closer on this turf course. I think the horse get back to some winning ways. 2 back at Saratoga on the 17th of July, mile and 8th under turf course in the Grade 1 Diana Stakes. The horse finished 8th by 8 3/4 lengths that day and just had nothing. Never really showed up. Maybe didn't like the Saratoga turf course. Maybe didn't like the inner turf course with the tight turns. It just wasn't the day to win. And then the North America debut came in this race last year here at Belmont, mile 16th on a good inner turf course. The horse finished second by half length. He sat back early, a little bit wide, really closed up behind Harvey's Little Goyle. She had the jump on her late, but she still ran her heart out there, earning 100 by her in the side of the ponds. Looking over the 3-year-old campaign in Ireland, the horse didn't run half bad. Was a Group 2 winner by winning the Beaugay Stakes at the Kerr over the mile and 8th in July 2020. Winning by 3/4 length, coming from the back of the pack. I thought it was a good race there. The only subpar race was in the Blandford Stakes, where the horse lost to Cayenne Pepper, who really, really, freaked that day. This horse just had nothing, and also, he just got beat by better horses over the mile and a quarter. A mile 16th is what the horse really wants. Gonna get it today. Training well. We'll use her. You also have to use the stablemate, the 1 horse Rogier. Chad Brown trains one. Flavian Pratt gets the mount. Most recent, the Brews Cup Filly Mare Turf at Del Mar over the mile 3/8. The horse finished 7 by 7/4 lengths that day and had a horrible trip. You need to have a good trip on that tight turf course at Del Mar. He didn't have the check a few times. Never closed up late. But before then, the Prix de l'Opera at Longchamp going a mile and a quarter. The horse went by nose and really closed up for nowhere on that demanding ground, and then ran a massive third in the Prix de la Noëtie, where again the horse closed up from nowhere. This horse is a bit of a deep closer, doesn't have a lot of forwardly pace, but really, coming here today with a firm track, I would like to see what this horse could do, because she's been running these great races on demanding ground. Finally seeing firm ground, I want to see what she does. Even money, we'll definitely use her in the late pick 4. But to recount my selection for the 10th from Belmont, it is the Grade 3 Beaugay Stakes. Gonna take the 2 horse La Mista. Give kudos to the 1 horse Rogier. 2-1-3-4 super. 2-1 in the multi race. So good luck to all. Please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.